Here we are then, up towards the line to start race 11 of the season, round 6 here at Imola. Once Will Friedman, the number 8 on the right hand side, crosses that line, it'll be green, then here we go, we are racing, we're underway for the sprint race, and looks like Didi got a slightly shaky start. Lightblade has definitely jumped him up towards turn 1. Somebody's already in the wall towards the back of the field. Ryan Ruby's on the grass, and oh my goodness, no, it wasn't Ryan, in fact, it was Raki there. Might have been Raki or it was Ryan, I don't know, but it looks like there's been a big to-do already here in this race. Tribe Racing looked like he was in the wars a little bit there. Somebody's gone off towards the right hand side there. I don't know if that was Luke. It looks like it was similar livery to Luke. It wasn't Luke, but somebody's been off and into the barriers there. And oh, Luke van der Street's on a bit of contact there. I think that was with Ryan there. Those two coming together a little bit. Will still leads ahead of Lightblade, 6/10 between those two. Didi has dropped down to 5th there. No, has he? No. Didi is still in 3rd place, but Hegemars was showing up as the leader for a second there. So it's Will from Lightblade, from Didi, from Tribe Racing, and Cinderella Tour side by side. And Cinderella Tour tries to close the door. Oh no! And there's a bit of a collision there. Cinderella Tour definitely a bit aggressive there as he tried to turn into the corner. Tribe was still there, still on the inside, and Dujo Senor tried to make the move around the outside here of Tribe. Can he get it done? He's going to try and swoop all the way around him there and manages to pull off the move. Brilliant move there from Dujo Senor ahead of Tribe Racing. Ryan Ruby there in 7th place. Raki Exeron Stones Racing. Luke van der Street's down to 11th place at the start of this race with Evan Martin, and Hegemars has dropped way off the back of the field down to P14 on this opening lap. Not the start to the race that he would have wanted by any stretch of the imagination. But it's Will currently leading out the front, 8/10 of a second is his gap over Lightblade right now. Lightblade's still keeping to the back of him, still giving him something to worry about over the course of this race. Didi trying to stick to these guys if he can. Dujo though is onto the back of Cinderella Tour right now. Tribe Racing in the background there, trying to stay in the slipstream of Dujo Senor as they're coming up towards the line. Down the start finish straight they come. Ryan Ruby, Raki Exeron there in 9th place. Bit of a gap back to these two, Stones Racing and Luke van der Streets. Evan there in 12th place at this point. Martin and Hegemars after a very turbulent opening lap way down the field. It was Martin who we saw hitting the wall coming through turn 3 on the as they were all filing through the first few corners on the opening lap. But Will has a lead of just over a second here to Lightblade. He's crucially broken that 1 second gap. Didi running in 3rd. Cinderella Tour has got a pack of cars behind him here. In fact, Dujo Senor's dropped way back here. He's dropped off of that pack. I don't know what's happened to Dujo, but he's now down in 9th place here in this race. Tribe, Ryan Ruby, Cinderella Tour running in a pack of cars. Oh no, Raki's lost it. Raki gets a bit sideways there, and that's going to allow Exeron to swoop up the inside, and it's Dujo Senor going to be able to try and get him as well. Dujo obviously had a bit of a moment on the previous lap which dropped him down from 5th down to 9th place. He's now trying to make places back up here, but as Exeron looking to the inside of Raki here, looks like those two are still going at it here in this battle for P7. Raki's now getting passed by cars left, right and centre there. Dujo's ahead of Raki. Luke's trying to get ahead of Raki as well now onto the back of these drivers here, but so much going on here in this opening couple of laps. Will leads by 8/10 ahead of Lightblade. Lightblade's still giving him some here. Didi, Tribe Racing is running in just on the inside there of Exeron by the looks of it, as Cinderella Tour as he dropped back a little bit down that pack. Well, Tribe Racing has cleared this pack a little bit. He's got 1.4 back to Cinderella Tour. Exeron has got Ryan Ruby all over him here, coming down the hill, down towards the hairpin. Dujo and Raki in hot pursuit here with Luke on the back of these guys. What's going to happen here is Exeron, again, the camera that's not really giving us much of a clue as to what is going on here, but here they come onto the start finish straight, and currently it looks like Ryan is just trying to keep in that slipstream at the moment. Dujo, Raki, Luke van der Streets all very close on the back of these drivers right now. Stones and Evans just a little bit off of them in 11th and 12th places. Those two have kind of just dropped off of the pack a little bit over the course of these first couple of laps. Will leads ahead of Lightblade by just half a second as they're coming in towards turn 1. Didi there in 3rd. Tribe just a little bit in a little bit off of those guys in 4th place. Cinderella Tour trying to find a way around him if he can. 3/10 between those two. Then there's this big pack of cars which is now led by Ryan Ruby. Exeron there just behind him. Dujo, Raki, Luke, all of these drivers in such close contention right now on the 3rd lap of this race. As we see Cinderella Tour getting all over the grass there. Oh my goodness me, how has he held on to that? That was a brilliant save there from Cinderella Tour. That was so close to tears there for him as he came out of the hairpin. Just about keeps it under control, but that was inches away from disaster as he manages to keep it onto the grey stuff. Ryan still running in P6. He's still got that train of cars behind him. Exeron, Dujo, Raki, Luke and Evan. Evan now closing on to the back of these drivers a little bit. He's now shaking off Stones. Stones has dropped well off here. I don't know what's happened to Stones, but he's now nowhere to be seen. Stones has completely lost it there. He's now binned it there onto the grass, and he's dropped down to P14 here in this race. Oh, that's really not gone to plan at all there for him. That has gone horribly wrong there for Stones. Ryan is still running in 6th place right now. He's got just under a second to Exeron. Dujo running in 8th place. There's Raki looking to try and defend from Luke van der Streets, but Luke van der Streets is down the inside into the hairpin. I think Luke's going to have that done. Camera is absolutely shocking through that corner. That is atrocious. But yeah, he is ahead of him anyway. So Luke van der Streets has made that move on Raki. The timing screen still hasn't decided to tell us that yet, but he has definitely made the move on him. You can quite clearly see with your own eyes. But now Raki's looking to try and make the move back on him here. Down the start finish straight they come. Is he going to be able to have the legs looking to the inside, coming down towards turn 1? He's going to put out that slipstream now in towards the braking zone they come. Can Raki come and go with immediate reply here on Luke van der Streets? He's going to try. Oh, it's Luke gets a little bit sideways there onto the curb, but coming on the exit of turn 2. He's onto the gravel there. Raki moves up into P10, and that has gone horribly wrong there for Luke van der Streets. Crawls over the gravel there. I think he's down to P11 there in that little exchange. Or has he still come out ahead of Evan? I'm not 100%. Yeah, Evan must have made a couple of mistakes, because he's nowhere right now. He's still running in P11. He's quite a little way off of this pack here, this pack of cars. But Tribe has managed to gap Cinderella Tour a little bit. He's now a second clear of Cinderella Tour. Ryan Ruby running 2 seconds off of the back of him. Of Cinderella Tour in 6th place. He's managed to shake off Exeron a little bit. Dujo Senor still running on the back of Exeron right now, but Raki after that little mistake on the previous lap, now running down in P9. He's got a bit of a gap back to Luke, who made that mistake coming through turn 2 on this lap. Evan now trying to reel in Luke if he can. Hegemar's not too far off the back of Evan either, as we got Martin and Stones in 13th and 14th place here in this race. But looks as though Dujo Senor has dropped off at the back of Exeron a little bit. In fact, he's now behind Raki, so Raki's now ahead of Dujo Senor. Again, the timing screens hasn't helped us out in any way, shape or form, even slightly there, but I've just worked that out just by looking at it. So Raki's got ahead of Dujo Senor up into 8th place, even though the timing screen says that it's the other way around. But yeah, currently Tribe Racing on the back of Cinderella Tour. Look at this, they're side by side here, coming down towards turn 1. Can Tribe Racing get through? Oh no, Cinderella Tour snaps into the barriers there. Bit of contact as they came into the corner. Didn't look like that much, but he goes spearing off into the barriers there. Cinderella Tour's got severe damage on the front of that car, and he's going to be overtaken by Raki. That's like Dujo's going to follow him through as well. Luke van der Streets will be coming up on the scene. Cinderella Tour pits. He's out of the race here. 8 minutes into this sprint race. That is such a shame there for Cinderella Tour. He had severe damage on that car due to that contact there with Tribe. And Tribe was trying to hold the move on Cinderella Tour. Cinderella Tour had really made gains on him on that lap, but it looked like Tribe just moved a little bit across into the braking zone. I didn't look like much contact. I've got to say, it looked very minimal, but Cinderella Tour just lost control of the car and it went spearing into the barriers. And Tribe ultimately up into 4th place here. Well, he was already in 4th, but he manages to hold on to 4th as a result of that. So he's still currently running in P4 at this point. Raki just running half a second off of Ryan at this point. He's got a further 7 tenths back to Dujo Senor at the moment as they're coming down towards the chicane. But right now Will leads the race by over 2 seconds to Lightblade as they're coming over the line to complete lap 5 of the race. Sorry about that, guys, just had to quickly take a call there, but still out in front leading this race is Will Friedman. He's got 3 seconds to Lightblade. He's continuing to pull out that gap at the moment. Looks like Will is in cruise control here in this race. Lightblade running in second place. Didi, your man in the final podium spot at the moment. He's got a further 4 seconds back to Tribe Racing. As we can see, Cinderella Tour is emerging from the pits after that damage. Oh no, he's just... What? What's going on? I mean, Tribe has just crashed into the wall. Or was it Ryan? It was Ryan. I don't know what's going on there with Cinderella Tour. Lightblade's got the gap down now to 3 seconds there to Will Friedman. So Lightblade's bringing that gap down a little bit. In fact, it's now 2.4, so he gained half a second on that previous lap. He was flying there that last time around. I don't know what happened there with Cinderella Tour, I've got to say. But right now Will leads the race by 2.5 seconds to Lightblade. These guys now well ahead of DDTKU at this point. Raki is running in P6. He's got 2 seconds back to Dujo Senor at the moment. So those two currently not separated by very much. Dujo has actually gained quite a bit on this lap so far. The gap's now a lot less than 1.9. 4/10 of a second it says on our timing screen now. So Dujo's really brought that gap down over the course of this lap. Ryan though in the pits after that collision there we saw with Cinderella Tour as he came out of the pits. Don't know what was going on there, I really don't. But he seemed like he just veered across the track straight away after he left the pits and ended up in the barriers, and it's a very, very strange incident, that I've got to say. But right now Dujo running 4/10 behind Reki at this point. Will Friedman leads the way. 2.6 is his gap right now over Lightblade. Didi still running in 3rd place, but he's a long way off on the front too. Tribe Racing running in 4th place. Had that little incident with Cinderella Tour a few laps ago coming up towards turn 1. A similar incident to the Russell Bottas incident in the Formula 1 earlier this season. And ultimately it was Tribe Racing got away with very, very minor damage, but Cinderella Tour ended up in the wall and had to undergo a couple damage that actually set him back a couple of laps. So Tribe Racing has got away pretty pretty lightly in that one. Exteron running in 5th place at this point. He's 5 seconds behind Tribe Racing at the moment. Raki's just coming in towards turn 1, so he's 5 seconds behind Exteron. Dujo running a second and a half behind Raki at this point. Further 5 seconds back to Luke van der Streets. He's got 2 seconds back to Hedgemars, who looks like he's starting to reel him in a little bit. Evan 2 seconds off the back of these guys in 10th place. Stones racing in 11th. There's Martin running in 12th place right now. Ryan in the pits after that horror show as Cinderella Tour came out of the pits. Still not sure really what happened there, but 6 minutes left to go in this race. Cinderella Tour's off and going, and looks like he's reasonably comfortable out there. The car doesn't look like he's got too much damage, so he should be able to extract the best performance out of that at this point in the race. But Will leads by just over 2 seconds to Lightblade at this point. Raki's gap to Dujo Senor currently 0.8 of a second, as these two currently look like they're pretty much joined at the hip right now. Dujo Senor wants to try and put the pressure on Raki in the final closing stages of this sprint race. Will's gap to Lightblade staying at around 2.5 seconds. Lightblade's matching him but just cannot seem to fully take the fight to him at this point. Be interesting to see if he can eke that little bit extra out of the car. Lightblade has said to me in the past that he likes the Porsche Cup cars. They're his favourite cars here on ACC, and he really does seem to excel in these every time he takes part in races with them. But currently 2.5 seconds between Will and Lightblade at the moment, so I think Will's got that buffer, he's got that gap, he's got what he needs to win this race. He just needs to keep it together and stay consistent throughout the course of this one, and he should be able to take home top honours once again here in the Porsche Cup this season. The reigning champion of the Porsche Supercup looking like he's going to be able to bring it home for another win. Didi still running in 3rd place. Tribe Racing a further 3.5 seconds back in 4th place. Exeron in 5th place. There's Raki running in 6th. He's just under 3 seconds behind Exeron at this point. Dujo has dropped off the back of Raki a little bit, just over a second between those two now. So Dujo looks like he's now starting to drop off the pace ever so slightly. Luke in 8th place. Hedgemar's running in 9th. He's just over a second behind Luke at this point. Evan being dragged along with Hegemars here, so this could get pretty tasty in this fight for 8th place. Luke, Hegemars and Evan all pretty close to each other on the track. None of these guys have really had the smoothest of races. Hegemars had a bit of a turbulent start. Luke and Evan have both had their fair share of skirmishes over the course of this one. Martin is in the pits, so he's obviously got damage on the car. No mandatory pit stop for the Porsche Cup, so that's going to really set him back quite a bit. Will's gap to Lightblade now just over 3 seconds, so Will has definitely done the work on that lap. He gained about 6/10 on Lightblade on that lap alone. Hegemars within a second of Luke van der Streets as they're coming in towards the final sector now. Will Freeman is on what I think is going to be his 3rd to last lap of the race, so we've got 2.5 laps left to go here in the sprint race for round 6 of Motive Racing's Porsche Supercup here on Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms. Will looks like he's going to be set to take another sprint race win. He does like the sprint races, but he often elects to start the feature races from the back, so that will be an interesting one if he decides to do that again. Into turn 1, Hegemars still on the back of Luke van der Streets. These two 8th and 9th. Evan just off the back of these guys, running in 10th place. He's just over a second behind Hegemars, so he'll be there hoping to feast on these scraps if these two do start tripping over each other in any way, shape or form. Gap between Will and Lightblade at the front just over 3 seconds at this point. Luke's still keeping ahead of Hegemars at the moment. Evan's just poised, waiting to throw a knockout blow to either of those two. Martin looks like he's stuck in the pits. He's not going anywhere fast. Maybe he's retiring the car. Maybe he's had enough here in this sprint race. Gap at the front between Will and Lightblade still just over 3 seconds, so Will's got enough to bring this one home. Just needs to keep doing exactly what he's doing at the moment and he'll be able to bring home another win here in that number 8 black Porsche. What a great drive it's been so far this season from Will Freeman. Didi's gap to Tribe, only 2 seconds, so Tribe's bringing it down a little bit. Question is, has he left it too late though? That gap's now I think under 2 seconds as well, because I just saw them coming through the last corner. It looks like he's just carved a little bit more of that gap down here as Tribe Racing, as they're coming up towards the line to complete their 10th lap of the race. They got a bit of a gap back to Exeron running in 5th place. Raki 3.5 seconds behind them is keeping the gap to Dujo Senor at this point, now just over a second, staying at around a second and a half between those two. Luke van der Streets, Hegemars separated by 0.4 of a second. In fact, Hegemars has dropped off the back and now Evans on the back of Luke van der Streets. So that is Hegemars. There must have been a mistake coming out of the final hairpin there. Evan is now up into 9th place ahead of him and can now have a crack here at Luke van der Streets with 2 laps left to go here in this race. Hegemars making a little mistake. Question is, can he bring himself back onto those two? Not what Hegemars would have wanted at all. He looked like he was well poised to try and take that 8th place away from Luke van der Streets. Gap at the front between Will and Lightblade staying the same, 3.2. These two matching each other's every lap at the moment, but currently Will with the ascendancy with track position. He's got a lap and a bit left to go to bring this one home and take the win here at Imola tonight. Evan within a 10th of a second of Luke at the previous checkpoint, still hasn't found a way around him. In fact, now Evan's dropped back behind Hegemars, so Evan must have made a mistake in the first sector there. He's now back down to 10th place here in this race. Timing board still hasn't updated, but Evan now in 10th. Hegemars is up into 9th place there, but he looks like he's a little bit off the back of Luke van der Streets. Luke is probably on to take an 8th place here in this race. He's going to hold off the challenge of both of these two. They've both given him quite a good little fight over the course of these last few laps, but Luke looks like he's going to weather the storm and bring it home in 8th place. Dujo's got the gap down to just 1.2 with Raki. Gained a couple of tenths in that last lap, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get himself into 6th place here in this race. Tribe has dropped off of Didi. Looks like the gap's now 4.5 seconds. Tribe must have made a mistake. That's going to be giving Didi a chance to just breathe a sigh of relief and bring it home for that final podium spot. Will is on the final lap of the race at the moment though. He's got almost 4 seconds now over Lightblade. Lightblade's dropped off of Will's pace ever so slightly on that last lap, and I think Will has now got enough to just cruise it home and bring it over the line. Hegemars has got a gap of 9/10 back to Evan. He's in a sandwich in between Luke and Evan at the moment as they are coming in towards the final hairpin right now, but I think maybe, but hold on, Hegemars is now well off the back of Luke and Evan. He's now dropped into the clutches of Stones. What's happened there to Hegemars? I really don't know what's happened to him there, but he's now dropped well off with them. I was just relying on the timing screen there, actually telling me the truth, but that doesn't happen. That's not actually a thing. But yeah, currently Luke and Evan separated by 1.6, so Luke should be pretty much set to finish this one in 8th place. Will Friedman, the race leaders, coming in towards the final few corners here at Imola, and it's going to be another win in the Porsche Supercup here for Will Friedman. What a job he's done. He's just been consistent as anything out the front. The practice sessions looked pretty tight between Will and Lightblade, but the qualifying was all Will Friedman. Lightblade wasn't able to set his true potential from the practice session in the qualifying. It was Will Friedman's to lose over the course of this one. He got away at the start. He has dominated this race. Lightblade started to match him towards the end, but Will Friedman comes over to take the checkered flag and take the win. Lightblade comes over in 2nd place. Gave him a really strong battle in the end in terms of the pace. He seemed like he was on the pace of Will, but unfortunately left it a little bit late to really get into a rhythm. DDTKU is coming out on the final corner, and it's going to be a podium place here for the man in the number 36 blue and white Porsche. Up towards the line he comes. He manages to hold off Tribe Racing. Tribe was a little bit quicker towards the end, but DD had the legs and finishes in 3rd place. Tribe comes over in 4th despite that collision with Cinderella Tour earlier on in the race. Exeron comes over to take a 5th spot here in this one. Raki is going to finish this one on 6th, just holds off Dujo Senor there. Great little battle between those two. Luke van der Streets is going to finish this one in 8th place, holds off Evan there in what was a good little charge from Evan on that last lap. But Luke 8th, Evan 9th. Hedgemars is going to come around to take 10th place after dropping off of that fight in the last couple of laps. So Hedgemars here is going to come over to take P10 in this one. Stone's a long way behind Hedgemars in 11th place. He'll be crossing the line shortly. Ryan finished the race in 12th place, a lap down. Cinderella Tour 13th. Martin's coming up towards the line. It was Martin who I thought was Stones earlier, same livery, but Martin was the one who was near Hedgemars a couple of laps ago. That was actually Martin, not Stones. I said it was Stones at the time, it was actually Martin, but Stones is coming out of the last corner now, and he's going to be the last to finish this sprint race in 11th place as he comes up towards the line. So that is that then for the sprint race, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for the feature race qualifying session. We'll be back on in about 5 minutes or so for that one. Well done to Will, Lightblade and Didi on the podium places. Great racing throughout the field, especially with Raki, Dujo